Hey guys, Ryan here. It's 2 o'clock as we always do. We get together for a workshop on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. I've got a guest that is backstage. His name's Ezra. I'm going to bring him on in a second. If you guys haven't joined here before, you know that this is where you can find out as a business owner how you can generate a continuous stream of excuse me pre-qualified, pre-sold leads, and by leveraging one of three strategies that we really focus on. One is AI, another one is local service ads, and another one is really Google Business Profile Optimization. But really here, what we're primarily talking about is how to leverage AI in order to get the results that you want to. Everybody's talking about it now. Let's see. Hold on a second. Here, let me there. Oh, there's some back. I was recording to Instagram, and that's what the sound was there. So anyway, I'm gonna show you guys how you can get in touch with us if you want to. If you have any questions, the website or one of the websites that we have is diyai.ai. That's going to be switching. We're going to be changing the content on that site pretty soon. We do have a school community. It's one of our school communities. It's skool.com/DIYAI. And then you can call us or text us at 561-861-3238. I'm the founder of a software that leverages artificial intelligence to generate that promise that I talked about in the beginning, which is a continuous stream of pre-qualified, pre-sold leads. We leverage AI to optimize a platform on Google called Google Local Service Ads that most businesses have the opportunity to use in order to generate more leads for their business. And in the process, over the past 20 years, since I'm also the founder of Accelerate Marketing, which is a digital marketing agency. The number one problem that I found is that it's just really challenging for businesses to get to the phone every time, to answer the phone, and to really to qualify the people that are calling them, and also to take in those calls. Once we create that stream of pre-qualified, pre-sold leads, a lot of times business owners are just overwhelmed by the flood of calls that they get once we get them optimized on the Google platform, specifically on Google Local Service Ads, which shows up right at the top of Google, above everything else, above the organic, above the videos, above Google Business Profile. And when we get the business approved, a lot of times the phone just starts ringing. It rings a lot. And so the question is how are you going to handle those phone calls? Because Google is listening as well on this particular platform. It's the only platform where they actually listen to the calls. So this is why I came up with the platform that I did, which is LSA Command, which you see on the screen there, and also another platform called Convertly. Those two platforms together make it so that a business owner can increase the leads. And we've got some amazing case studies on the lsacommand.com website that show you that if you just give Google what it wants, Google will give you what you want, which is an increased number of leads, better qualified leads or better quality leads. And then you'll also be able to convert more of those leads. And that's what Convertly does. Convertly answers one of the 4 R's that we try to optimize for: reviews, radius, response rate, and refunds. When we optimize for those 4 things, then we see amazing things happen. Like you'll see in those case studies right at the top of the website there, where we had a 75% increase in lead volume over 3 months for these pool contractors. We saw a 300% increase in the lead quality. And we saw, what else? A conversion rate that probably went up by at least 2 or 3 fold because we're able to give Google what it wants, which is all calls answered in 30 seconds. That's part of the story. The next iteration of this is, okay, so once that's handled, how do we make it better? And that's why I've got Ezra on the call today. And with that, I'm gonna add him to the call, because what Ezra has created is a way to give these agents that can do work for your business. I mean, everybody's talking not just about conversational agents that can answer the phone, but agents that can actually get work done. Well, how can an agent effectively be an intake agent if it doesn't have context of all previous phone calls? Like really good context. How can an agent achieve a goal for you, whether it's OpenClaw or Hermes agent or whatever agent that you're using now, that everybody's trying to create these agents that get things done for their company, which is the dream that everybody's had since we've heard of AI, is how do we make this happen? Well, one of the biggest challenges to making that dream happen is giving context to these AI agents. And that's how I was introduced to Ezra, because one of my friends, Alexander, actually, I know him from the Hippocrates Health Institute where my wife works. He's seen me on, I guess, on one of these workshops, either my Tuesday workshop or the Wednesday workshop that's a lot more attended because it's for my agency that's been around for 20 years. We've got over 1,000 people in that group. But this one is really, I enjoy doing this because it's really about just AI, and it's fun because I can bring people like Ezra in that are really cutting edge and on the bleeding edge of technology, where we can really make a big impact in a business quickly. And the early adopters are the ones that are going to win, just like the early adopters of local service ads always win. Whenever local service ads opens up a new vertical, the businesses that start running the local service ads first are the ones that win. And what Ezra offers is the ability to make those agents remember. It gives the agent the ability to have context of prior conversations. So with that, Ezra, how's that for an intro?
That was perfect, Ryan. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet.
That was awesome. I love it.
All right. So he knows about my business because we've been hanging out a little bit. He came to Hippocrates and we sat down eyeball to eyeball and, in this world of, Zoom calls and everything. And it was great, because we had a good, healthy dinner and we geeked out on AI with everybody else that was just going, what the hell are you guys talking about? And
right.
Yeah. So I'll let you go take it from there. What are your thoughts from what I shared? And why don't you share with other people, like, what you do and how you got here?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ryan, for having me again. It's great to meet your audience. My name's Ezra. I'm the founder and creator of Cerebell. As Ryan described, it is a new technology which allows for continual context as well as memory for AI agents across the board. Voice agents is actually a really compelling use case for the technology, considering that an agent is continually in real time having new information coming in from the conversation that it's having. So what Cerebell does is it allows for that any conflicting information that is against what is currently held in its storage, in its memory, to be resolved actively. So that's what makes it the first active memory system. And that's why it's actually a really amazing use case for these AI voice agents like you're providing, Ryan.
Okay, so it's really okay. I'm glad that you shared that. I mean, that gives a really good, quick context for people. Nate, who I've mentioned before to you, I've talked to you about Nate because he's my, he's the guy that helped me to really work the bugs, the cobwebs out of the LSA Command software. So I'm really grateful that he's done that, Nate, and also allowed us to test out the software, both the conversational AI agent and also now what is now LSA Command. Nate's backstage, and I think it'd be really good for you to meet him, and primarily with the context of you being able to share what it is that you do. So with that, I'll ask, hey Nate, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I couldn't miss one of your webinars, so I wanted to hurry up and hop on.
No, I appreciate it. Well, I've talked to Ezra about you and other guys that I've talked to in the space. Everybody asks, what kind of case studies do you have? And one of the things that I always share with them is the case studies that we've created together with some of your clients, and we've done that with an agent, a conversational AI agent that really has good context, but not really the best context. And I shared with you, Nate, a little bit about Ezra in our last meeting that we have. We have meetings every Monday, Wednesday, Friday to go over LSA Command and any new features that the agency owners like Nate. Nate is an agency owner. How long have you been an agency owner now, Nate? It's been a year.
20 months.
20 months. Okay. So 20 months, he's fairly new. He was employed by an agency down south and went out on his own, and he saw some of my videos, and I was telling him, hey, you can do this, LSA optimization for businesses. And he jumped on it and believed that he could, because everybody else was telling him, you can't charge for that. There's no way. It's set it and forget it. And so, he did just the opposite and went out. And now we've got an amazing story, because he's done so well with LSA Command and optimizing local service ads for businesses that he's now really a case study for one of the agency groups that he's in, because they all can't believe that he's charging the amount that he does specifically for local service ads. And what I told Nate is that we can make it even better now, because we have the chance to make our agents even smarter. Because Nate, I'll let you just speak for, just honestly, for a second. One of the challenges that we've had, and you've seen, this is real time, and I think it's really good that you're here. You've seen Mary, your assistant. She's the one who's been getting all the customer service calls. One of the challenges that you've seen is lack of context, right? The AI agents are good, but a lot of times she has to go back and re-up the knowledge base, or re-up the prompt, or tweak the prompt in order to make the agent better and to remember what it should be remembering from just the normal conversation that it's having with people. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree.
Okay. Is there anything that you'd want to add to that? Because that wouldn't it be nice to not have that happen anymore, so that we could have an agent that has full remembrance of all conversations, so that Mary wouldn't have to go and redo the prompt?
Yeah, and I think you've always said that these agents are going to get smarter and smarter, and so that's just kind of what we're waiting on. And what we're telling our clients is, hey, whatever the agent sounds like right now, wait 6 months. Yeah. Wait 6 months, because the technology is going to compound, and it's going to sound way better. Hey, great meeting you, Ezra. Any friend of Ryan is a friend of mine. So,
likewise, Nate. Absolutely. I'm really interested in what you're doing. We should definitely talk offline too after this.
Yeah,
hear more about how the case studies have worked out so far, and what the failure modes are. If you don't mind sharing, you have a bit more time, dude. I would love to hear more about what your exact failure modes are with that context across time. Are you having recurrent conversation profiles built from previous ones that the agent is then referencing in real time? Are you using that data to then automate CRM input? How does the agent right now work? Is it actually remembering who's calling and what they're calling about?
Maybe Ryan can help me with this one, but it's real simple. Ryan's LSA software command, as you may know, has a prompt, and we're just prompting it very specifically. We tell all our clients, we'll even hop on a call with our clients, share our screen, and we'll read the prompt, from top to bottom, just to make sure it represents the client's company well. But to answer your question about the CRM, we're a little bit behind on the CRM. We just hired a go high level expert, so he's going to be building out a CRM for our client. And I think Ryan has a option in his software where if the AI has a really good conversation, or if the customer has a really good conversation with their clients, then you could take that audio and then upload it to the prompts. And that's kind of the best way for the AI to learn, not only prompting it, typing it, but also giving it the audio. So let's say a contractor is talking to a homeowner about a kitchen remodel, and the conversation's perfect. It's just a perfect conversation every marketer wants to hear. We would take that audio and upload that to the prompt, and that's just additional information for the AI to learn the company's services. So hopefully I answered your question, Ezra. Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff that I still have not done, and I'm trying to learn. One of the biggest takeaways, though, is we used to sell LSA when I worked at a company, we sold LSA for $5.99 a month. I knew LSA was worth more than $5.99 a month because these were direct phone calls. No business can deny a direct phone call from a customer calling them directly in real time looking for their business. I mean, that's so valuable. And so with LSA Command, we're able to, what I call, put LSAs on steroids. And I just picture a little LSA next to Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know? And I mean, I say that because that's what's happening. We're able to list our client badge 24/7. They're giving that badge typically replies in minutes. And what that's causing is a floodgate of leads. Ryan, I actually had 2 clients call me today, Tad Pools and Paradise Pools, one in Georgia, one in Cali, just to tell us that they're just so happy with the services. And really the secret sauce is Ryan's LSA Command. You know, any marketing company can run LSA, but the problem is when these companies are running LSA, the business owners are missing the phone calls. They want everything tracked. The LSAs aren't working. They're not allocated properly. So, I mean, Ryan has changed our life, you know, really. Like Ryan's software, he's really changed my life. And we're getting ready to hit 40K a month. So,
very cool. Congrats.
You know, can't wait to hit some more numbers.
Yeah. And what I think what Nate, thank you, Nate. I mean, and I appreciate that. But what Nate is, you know, the way that we're going to be able to take Nate to the next level is 2 ways. Number one is, you know, Nate's always looking, and we are, for a better voice where the agent has a faster response, a more human-like response. And number 2, and he doesn't know to ask for this because he doesn't really see it as a problem because somebody's actually going back and changing the prompt, and they're changing the content of the context for the agent and the knowledge in the form of a knowledge base or the knowledge base. So he doesn't really see a lot of that, but that's what really, Nate, that's what Ezra is here to solve. Is he's here to solve the issue of the agent hallucinating or not knowing what is the right information for that particular client to remember, so that when that person calls back, it has full context and full remembrance of everything about Tadpole Pools or Gold Star, because it's had 3 or 4 or 5 conversations with them, and it knows that they don't do service calls, and it knows that they don't work on, for example, hot tubs, and it knows that they only do installs in Palm Beach County or whatever. Does that make sense? So that is what your employee, Mary, God bless her, she goes in and she makes these changes manually. But you know me, I'm an automation guy. Forget human stuff. I want to do it automatically. I want it automatically done. Does that make sense?
Are you saying that Ezra has a way to prompt these AIs without manually inputting their prompts?
Well, he has a way to make the prompt work more efficiently, so that it captures more of the data when the agent is actively talking to somebody. It will then put all of the information that it gets from that person into its brain and have complete context, so that Mary doesn't have to go back and change the prompt in order to add old information to it. Because right now, the agent is not gathering all the information that it possibly could, and Ezra's here to fix that.
Okay. Well, and if Ezra's here to make your platform better, everybody wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's really good that you've got an agency owner here that doesn't really see all the challenges. I see it because we meet with Mary, his assistant that really goes and makes the changes. But this is real time and energy and effort, and that's just for a conversational AI agent. Let alone, Nate, Nate just went to an AI conference in California.
Nice.
And one of the things that, Nate, that a lot of agencies were talking about is probably OpenClaw and Hermes Agent and all of the. But how many agencies are actually implementing those agents? How many are actually getting them to do work? And so because here's the challenge is those agents limitation to get work done is limited to the context that they are able to take in and remember.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And at the conference, they were saying that the companies that are going to adapt well have to sell some type of software, and it has to be related to AI and a software and a recurring software. And that's kind of like the transition to these agentic agencies. They have to be selling some type of, service like that. And what is LSA Command? It's just literally that company that hosted that conference. It's called E2M. They're a huge white label company. They have over 450 agency partners that they provide services for. They need LSA Command. Like, it's a no-brainer. They need to offer that as a service to their agency owners as well, because it's aligned with the agenda of becoming an agentic agency.
Yeah, it does. And the next level of agentic agency that we're going to see evolving is one that has agents that have a bigger context window. And with that, I'll let Ezra, let's go in. You can show your screen, by the way. And if you want, you can give examples. You can go into the data that you did for us, whatever way that you want to go. I want to give you an opportunity to really talk about Cerebell and what it does. But Nate, I appreciate you being here. I think this will be good for you to see and to understand, because I'm telling you, this information is what is going to allow businesses and business owners to really separate themselves, is if they really start thinking about the context that they're able to give to their agent and really focus on that. Because really the first year of AI was really about prompting. This next year or year and a half, 2 years is going to be all about building the agent's ability to retain information.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And you mentioned context windows, and Ryan, like, context windows are almost irrelevant at this point with Cerebell, right? When you have enough memory and it compounds over time, and you're able to point out, hey, well, what is superseding what at what time and for what reason, and everything prior is not just thrown into the same filing cabinet, so to speak, but it's actually correctly marked and deboosted, and then that is attuned to a confidence signal that then allows for that supersession and that compounding of information built off of previous set of knowledge over time. So that's kind of what Cerebell is able to do, is it really minimizes the token costs in a way, because you're not spending the tokens on filling the prompt with the previous context. The previous context is already built at right time as the conversation is happening in real time. So the agent is continually learning, continually upgrading its entire knowledge base, its entire knowledge set, and that then compounds over time. And that is for the business, that's for customers, that's for services. You can start really breaking down and drilling down that data to get some unique insights and to actually build off of the capabilities that are provided there, because it's actually not just a harness, not just an orchestration tool, kind of like a OpenClaw or like a Hermes. It's infrastructure, it's memory infrastructure. So it's like based off the cerebellum, the second brain, right? So it's kind of the command center of what's driving what's actually relevant for you right now, right? Like what's for your business, for your agent. When it has an incoming call, it wants to know, or if it has a record of who's calling, it might know exactly where they are already. It doesn't have to take new information and say, oh, where do you live? What service are you looking for? That is a complete upgrade in the customer experience, because it's completely personalized, and it becomes more personalized as time goes. And Cerebell, you mentioned too, like as the system, learns, it learns like the actual, contractors' services, right? Like it'll learn like that this contractor only works in this area, or only provides this type of service at this time. That's set in stone in the system. Like another major failure case in these AI agents and conversational agents and voice agents is that they'll make up stuff. They'll say, oh, the price is this, or, oh, I offer this service there, or, something completely out of the blue. And you see it with like major airlines, they have like the big, like, there's stories that kind of come out like, oh, this person got some major discount. It's a major airline because an AI voice agent quoted them a wrong price, right? And they're like, well, how do we not ever let that happen again, right? Well, they dumb down the agents, or they try to like do hacks around orchestration where you're using more LLMs trying to talk to each other to actually figure out and coordinate context, as opposed to just what Cerebell does is it cleans the context and resolves it at right time, in real time, as the conversation is happening. And that is tiered based on different guards that I've built in the system, so that the system level information can never be superseded or changed by a user information. If the price is $1,500 for this service, then it's $1,500. The system knows it. It's not going to guess and say, well, what's the price? Well, you're telling me the price is only $1,000. You're telling me the price is $2,000, or this is what you'll pay for it. No, this is the price. These are my service areas. These are my hours. The agent is set in stone with what it knows on the system level. And you set that by itself, and that learns. That's actually, you don't have to set that. That is learned through the conversations, through the ingestion, when you're feeding it your records and you're saying, hey, analyze my conversations. It'll automatically pull out the context and say, oh, well, these are your service hours. These are your areas of operations. And the more that it sees that over all the relevant interactions, the more that structure builds for those relations over time. So that is how it compounds its knowledge set and is able to actually become quicker, become less LLM reliant. It starts to actually make its own decisions and be able to orchestrate resolutions on its own based off of what it knows. And that's actually even more the case for a business owner, where you're setting those system standards and you're saying, hey, these are my services, these are my hours, this is my price. That's set in stone, so that can compound, and that builds off of how you're relating to your clients, of what services you're providing, where you're providing them. That all then becomes queryable. That then becomes a platform to gain unique insights, which then you can begin to optimize your services for, right? Where you're saying, hey, well, I'm getting these types of clients in this area. Well, let me expand my outreach, right? Like, let me work with Ryan more, or let me work with Nate to actually like expand my Google ad reach within this area, within this demographic, because I'm seeing, based on my clients, based on what Cerebell is showing me and telling me and building from its context over time, which is my business. So it's building an operational repository of your business information and how that relates to your customers, and then what your customers' needs are. But that's all happening in the background through your LLM agents, which are actually in the field doing the tasks, whatever your voice agents are currently doing. They're taking calls, they're scheduling, they're adding things to the CRM. That all becomes automated. There's no human in the loop here, which is actually the really beautiful thing about Cerebell, is that I built it to remove the human out of the loop, to say, hey, you know what? This idea of having to prune a knowledge graph, or having to reassemble a prompt because there's new context which needed to be added, that's not the point of automation, right? Like the tool should be able to handle that end to end. And that's what's really unique about Cerebell, and that's what it provides. And that's why, I'm really excited to see, as the rubber meets the road here, Ryan, like what the benefits are for, your agency providers like Nathaniel.
Yeah, me too. I'm interested.
Yeah, for sure. And that's real. I think that's what you mean.
No, I'm interested in Ezra's program in the software. That's what I'm interested in. Seeing what the difference would be.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The delta, and that's what Ezra and I have talked about that a lot. Like what's the change? What is it? How does it change the voice agents in terms of how they sound, and also over time, the amount of interaction that Mary has to have with the agent in order to put it back on track again, because
she would love that. She would love that we're having this conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Ezra, Mary's from the Philippines, and she got added on to the team like 2.5 months ago, and God love her. She really works her butt off. Programming these AI agents and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So anything to help her process also would be cool too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%. And because Ezra, your deck says that AI agents can't tell what's currently true. This was really, I think, what you were saying. What that this is really what you were explaining is that this is what it does in plain English. Basically, what you just said is that AI agents can't tell what's currently true, but if you have a context engine, for lack of a better word, like yours, then the agent can tell what's actually true. And in plain English, how is it different than like a vector database or a RAG system or longer context windows that solve for this?
Right. And so that's the million-dollar question, right? Is that Cerebell is a unique storage primitive. So I built a completely novel architecture which allows for the capabilities like write time resolution, which is completely unique in that it not only supersedes all relevant facts, but all associated facts from that same entity and cross entities, right? So if you're saying, hey, this provider is, this client has moved and they have this service hours of operate, like every Monday, they're getting service at 11 a.m. And this is, and they live in this neighborhood, and they have these specific requests or instructions for the contractor, and they like working with this contractor. I like talking to this one, and they have a relationship with that one. That all gets superseded and carried over when that client moves, right? So there's no solution which allows for that currently besides Cerebell, and that's because of the unique architecture which is allowing for that right time resolution, which can then cascade out and supersede all relevant facts. And you mentioned a vector database. How does it vary? Well, this is active memory. So vector DB and most other knowledge graph, you have to do graph traversal with a vector DB. You're getting, it's like a filing cabinet. Both are like a filing cabinet. Knowledge graph is a little more of a three-dimensional cabinet, but it's still a cabinet, right? It's still static. And there's different kind of solutions which can resolve different edges, but like nothing will, and they'll replace like I live in San Francisco with I live in New York, or the basics. That's possible, but that's also being done later, and that's not being done at right time. So the LLM still has to kind of resolve from the filing cabinet when it's presented everything in the prompt. And it says, well, I have to kind of figure out and use my reasoning ability to say, well, this is why this is relevant. But it's not knowing what's true, because it doesn't know this follows this, followed that, and this is the reason why this is actually relevant right now. And that's what Cerebell provides by doing that cascading supersession at right time resolution, which is only because of the architecture that I built, which is not a knowledge graph, not a context graph, not a vector DB. It's something which allows for these capabilities to kind of to arise. And that's something that's an emerge. That's a really beautiful thing about kind of the industry right now, is that there are these kind of cutting edge solutions and people doing kind of cutting edge software and making, these really, interesting orchestration abilities and taking them to the next level. And that's what I'm really, excited to share with Cerebell, is that I really know that there's going to be some, a real fire of use for your clients. I mean, we saw it, Ryan. I mean, do you want to go into the POC numbers? I'm happy to kind of.
Yeah, that's what I was going to. That was actually the next thing I was going to say. We gave you 95 real DIY AI voice calls,
right?
As a case study, and just see what the delta would be. And so you can talk about like what did Cerebell do with them, and what was the result?
Yeah, absolutely. So Cerebell, it took those 95 calls. It recognized 24 of those off the bat are not relevant at all. They're just garbled. They're a customer called and hung up. They maybe said one or two things. So it immediately saw that, discarded them. That's never going to reach the storage, right? So what Cerebell then does is it extracted the facts from the rest of the conversation, 71 say, and said, hey, this is what is actually relevant. It builds a CRM profile in a way of atomic facts based on what was said in conversation. And then that is a profile for the entity, which is the client. And then they will also build the system knowledge from, like I said, the set of information that it was extracting in the actual prompt, in the actual conversation, excuse me.
Okay, do you want to show your screen? I mean, because I think it'd be good to, yeah, there's a way.
Yeah, I don't have it pulled. Let me see if I can get it pulled up really quick.
Because I want Nate to see like what the change would be like for his clients, because we want to add this on with some of his clients to see if it's a noticeable change in the conversations that we have outside of this limited test. So we didn't do it. We haven't made it live yet, Nate, but we did a test sample, and that's what Ezra's talking about. We gave him 95 calls, or 92 or 95, and he analyzed it. He basically put them through Cerebell to see what kind of difference Cerebell could make in terms of its ability to remember facts over what we currently have, which is a vector database.
And to build memory over time, to build client profiles, to have continual context for the next call. So what was actually really unique is that Cerebell was able to, you can see the facts here. We used a very cheap LLM for extraction. It cost about 15 cents for an API cost to run these entire 500 conversations. And this, competes very quickly for the conversation size. And it even goes faster if you upgrade your CPU or you use a GPU. It's actually tremendous how quickly you can actually resolve these set of your own data set over time historically and get it to real time very quickly. So, in this, we've recognized, we built atomic facts off the profile. So it's extracting the name, it's extracting who's calling, why they're calling, what they're calling about, where they live, any relevant facts that are relayed to the agent in the conversation. And then that builds this profile. And then you can see that everything extracted is 100% accurate, right? So this is one of the actual, the beauties of Cerebell too, is that it's accurately capturing the relevant information from the conversation. So it's not extracting anything that's not relevant. It's not extracting noise. It's removing junk. So you're not, again, storing everything in the filing cabinet. You're just storing the exact important facts. And then you're weighing those against, well, what was said, what was recent, what is relevant in my memory, and then why is this, either more relevant or more true right now.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
And so, what was cool about this use case is that we had a couple recurrent conversations, right? We had a couple callers who were calling back. And so the agent is able to recognize that and say, oh, this is what we talked about last time. I know who's calling. And it then can supersede that customer profile based off of what was said in the second conversation and how that then changes from why they called in that first conversation. So we saw this with Philip for this pool detection service where he wanted, hey, I have a leak detection. On the call, he was kind of looking and saying, actually, yeah, I need a service for that. A provider came out, fixed it. Next call, he's saying, oh, that was good. Leak's fixed. I just need summer service now.
Yeah.
Cool. But the vector DB and any current memory context system is going to hold both that Philip was, had the leak detection, but also is requesting summer service. So what's true, right? And the more facts that it has in storage, and these are just the main facts, right? These are just the actual the highest level context of why Philip called. But these are not all the facts that are related to Philip in that conversation. But all those facts that were related would go to the LLM to resolve if the system wasn't using Cerebell.
Yeah. So it's more efficient, and there's definitely things that it caught that the others that our current system would not have, which would have led to misinformation, correct?
Exactly. And that's what's getting resolved. So it's seeing that, hey, well, Philip, isn't calling again about leak detection. I'm not going to mention leak detection. I know that Philip has a progressive, evolving customer profile, and that is for every single customer. And that's automatically built. That can be automatically relayed to your CRM. And that's recursive. It continues to compound and build on itself.
Yeah. And I think that's, Nate, do you have any questions about that? I mean, I'm curious to see like what you as the end consumer, are you able to understand what it's doing here and the benefit of it? Because he's a sales guy as well. Nate's a really good sales guy, so he's going to give you feedback on whether or not he's really sold on whether or not Cerebell. I mean, he's going to give you
How's the sell?
Yeah.
How's the sell?
Yeah.
But I'm not a detailed-oriented personality.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that your software is supposed to help the AI agent, I guess, remember better information, formulate better responses. That's what I'm getting from this.
That is exactly correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it allows the agent to be personal. It allows the agent to actually be a full-on employee. It allows the agent to know your customers, know why they're calling, know what's important, and have that compound over time for a personalized experience, which is better than anything that can be offered today.
Yeah. I'm interested in seeing what this would look like. I know with our clients now, we've been getting a lot of feedback that's like, we only want the AI to pick up the phone calls if it's a last resort. So what's cool with the call flow feature is, it's ringing their phone first, but if they can't pick up, the AI picks up. And once the AI picks up, most of the times it has a good conversation with the homeowner, but every once in a while the AI will not have a good conversation. So yeah, I mean, Ryan, I'm interested. This guy seems like he has it figured out,
Yeah, he definitely has. He has a good technology, and it's going to make our agents perform better and have more context. That's the bottom line. We just got Sean that was added backstage here. Before I add Sean and answer some of his questions about his wanting to create an AI agent, I know he's been wanting to create again. There's so many people that I talk to that are like, man, how do I've heard about Hermes agent, OpenClaw. Again, these agents without context, they can really be pretty much almost useless. I mean, because if you're constantly having to go back, there's nothing more frustrating until you actually do it. with actually going back and having to say to the agent again and again and again what it is that you want it to do based on your goals. And so if the agent, whether it's the agent that I'm talking to that's trying to achieve the goals that I'm giving it, or it's an agent that somebody else is talking to that is representing a business like yours, Nate, that you help, it's that's the most important thing right now that everybody's trying to solve for. So a guy like Sean just wants to get started. He just wants to get an agent. He wants it, he wants to have something that is more than just a prompt that you can give a goal to, and it'll work towards that goal 24 hours, 7 days a week. And and that's part of what's going to be resolved as well. If the agent has better context, it will be able to work longer because it has more context. It's able to retain the context.
And that's why I said context windows are almost redundant at this point as a conversation topic, because if the context is continually clean for the LLM, it doesn't have to spend its tokens on reasoning context. It knows what the context is being provided, and that's that. So you can have these continual context windows that stretch forever, which is a really unique thing about Cerebell, is that I've run Cerebell for weeks.
Okay, so that's one of the biggest challenges. That's one of the biggest challenges, Nate. You haven't experienced it, neither has Sean. I'll tell you the number one, and I'll bring Sean in a second, but the number one issue is, can this agent run for more than a half a day, or a day, or for a week? If you can have an agent, Nate, imagine this, you being a sales guy, go out there and scrape data forever, like literally nonstop for you to find business owners that are looking for that have a Google Business Profile page, okay, but they don't have a local service ads page, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about, that are in a large city or around a large city that doesn't have many competitors on local service ads, okay, that responds slowly, that, that you can see that potentially respond slowly, or they don't have an LSA and they are not open 24 hours. It doesn't look like they're taking message leads on their Google Business Profile page. And, you can have the agent scrape those type of leads and then send emails to them all day long with screenshots and an audit for each one of them, saying, hey, look, this is what you're missing. I did an audit on your business, Nate. You got to hear me, dude. I did an audit on your business, XYZ person that it's found because it went and did all kinds of, research to find the owner of these large businesses that need a local service ads page, that don't have one, that are in an underserved.
So imagine it holds all that context and then it doesn't repeat itself. It doesn't make a mistake. It doesn't say, oh, well, I'm actually doing this other thing now.
Right.
That's kind of the little issue sometimes that we've ran across is like the AI will say, hi, this is Angelica with ABC Company. Oh, hi, this is Angelica with ABC Company. How can I help you? How can I help you? It's like the customer, the homeowner totally knows it's AI.
Right.
Yeah.
Like 75, 80% of the time, it's smooth conversation. But we have recordings recently of the AI fumbling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And whenever the AI starts to fumble, that's when our clients or the business owners have like a negative connotation towards the AI.
Yep.
But then we have to always remind them that the AI is not really there for always talking to the homeowners. It's there to make sure the LSA is working super duper great. But you could get the AI to have smoother, better conversations, remembering more context information, like as Ray was saying, then it sounds like a better user experience for everybody. Better for the owner, better for the homeowner, more trust. Yeah.
100%. And with that, I want to make sure, because I want to give Sean some time. So we got about 2 minutes. I want to spend at least 10 minutes with Sean. So Ezra, what, in a nutshell, any final thoughts? Where can people go if they want to learn more?
Yeah, absolutely. Visit me at cerebell.co. I have my demo up. Also reach me at ezra@cerebell.co. I'm actively having conversations and going to market right now, speaking with other AI agentic service providers and orchestration toolkit owners, and helping them kind of solve this long-term context problem and giving their agents the capacity to continually reason and compound their memory over time. So reach out to me if you're interested in the topic. Always happy to chat, and looking forward to working with you further, Ryan.
All right, thanks, Ezra. I will get back to you later on that, on our agreement for our clients. And if you guys want to stay on, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine as well. I'm going to bring Sean in.
All good. I'm gonna dip out here, but thanks for having me, Ryan. Let's do it again. In a couple months or so, once we're up and running, see what the results are.
Sounds good.
Cool. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. All right. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Ryan. How's it going?
What's up?
Sound like a good call.
Yeah, it is. And I'll just give people some context. So that was a call of basically Ezra is the owner of a startup called Cerebell, after cerebellum, which is part of our brain. Which, as you can imagine, he's trying to give the AI agents a better memory. That's
okay.
So that's what that conversation was about. We're trying to make our conversational AI agents that we offer to businesses to answer the phone for them. We're trying to give them better long-term memory, so that they can remember facts and have better conversations on behalf of the businesses that purchase our AI agents to answer the phone. So so that's what that was about. And for anybody that doesn't know Sean is that's why I wanted to have him on. I appreciate you just jumping on live like this. I mean, you get out there, I knew you'd be okay with, talking in front of a camera and not be shy. But Sean, I play pickleball with Sean, and he's mentioned, as a lot of the guys, we talk about what we do. And I mentioned that I work a lot with AI primarily. And in addition to helping businesses generate more leads. And, the conversation eventually turns to, well, how do you do that? And everybody's a lot of people are trying to figure out how to make agents work for them as individuals, or even as in their business. But for you, Sean, you'd like to use it to just get things done. That's kind of business, kind of whatever,
Yeah.
right? You just want to. So okay, so what I wanted to do is, we got a few more minutes here. What I was gonna give you, and what I was sharing with you, is that, and the reason why I want to have you on is because if you're having these questions, other people that are on my show, they have these same questions. They just don't ask. So I wanted to give people point them in the right direction, as I'm pointing you in the right direction of at least starting down the process or starting down the road of the process of setting up an agent for yourself, and what that looks like. So if I were you, what I would use is, right now, there's really two major players that are really easy to use. And one you mentioned yesterday is Claude, and the other one is Codex, which is OpenAI. A lot of people right now think OpenAI 5.5 really has the best agent out there. Now, Claude is supposed to be coming out with an update really soon. What I would do if I were you is, I would start on either Claude or OpenAI with their $100 a month plan, and start. You could start with Codex, or even Claude.
If you can hear me, Ryan, it just froze up. There you're back. It just came back. It was froze up for a second.
Okay. So what I was saying is I would start with either Claude Code or OpenAI Codex. If I were to choose one right now, I would say Codex is probably the best. Now you can go on. I'm going to show you my website so you can, or my so you can see. So let me know when you can see it. 1 second. Okay. So I would go to OpenAI Codex, and I go to like chatgpt.com, and here you can see Codex. So you can download.
Okay, yeah, I just brought it up.
Yeah. So you can download this for Mac OS. Okay. And this shows you very easily, like even just on this screen right here, like how to use it. And I would just start having a conversation with it. And there's really only 2 or 3 things that you need to do here, or understand, is they made it really simple to start using agents that can not just do things for you, but can move towards goals that you have. Okay. And the way that they do that is, and the way that they do that is, I'll show you mine. So this is my, okay. So this is how it looks on your computer. Okay. This is what it looks like. So on the left here, you've got these options of starting a new chat, doing the search, adding plugins, or creating automations. So what I'm going to start with is just start it. Once you download it, you want to start a new chat. And then what I would do is I would start adding plugins, like all these that are on this page. When you click on plugins, you can give the agent access to your computer, and that would be this plugin, which is computer use. You can also give it access to Chrome, spreadsheets, presentations, Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drive. So it's through the process of you giving the agent access to these different plugins that you're able to allow Codex to get things done for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the first step, is download it, start a new chat.
Okay. It says download from Windows. Is that
Windows?
That's
right? Good. Perfect. That's good. So you got it downloaded for Windows. Now just install it, and then you're going to go. It'll be the same thing. You just got to add the plugins that you want, and then you can just start having a conversation with it, like, how do we do this? how do I install my QuickBooks, or how do I connect QuickBooks to you? You know, or even something as open-ended as, how can you help me? You know,
Okay.
and once you do that, you're going to start. I think that's really, there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube that can give you insight, and you can watch them, and they're great. And I would type in, for example, on YouTube, I would search for videos that, like, Codex, how to use Codex for, building agents. And you're going to have plenty of options to learn how to use Codex to build an agent for yourself. But this is really where I would start. Once you connect the plugins and you start a chat and you start conversing with Codex, and you say, what can you help me with here? What can you help me with? It'll tell you, it'll give you suggestions on what it can do and how it can help you. And eventually some of the things that you're going to be doing are creating what are called skills, which is basically a prompt that you are doing over. It's a process or a workflow that you're doing over and over again. Okay. So once you do something over and over again, you can say, hey, Codex, I want you, now that we've done this process multiple times, instead of me giving you the prompt to do that every time, I want you to remember that prompt and that process as what's called a skill. And it will remember that process. And then in the future, if you ever want to do that skill again or do that same process, you just say, hey, Codex, I want you to follow the, gathering of all my receipts skill that, that I gave you, where I have you take all of the screenshots of my my uploaded receipts and organize them in the way that I organize them in the skill. I want you just to follow that skill and do that now for all the past month's receipts. And that would be a skill, for example. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So again, open a new chat, ask it the basic question of, how can I help? How can you help me? Start connecting your plugins, give it access to the things that you feel comfortable giving it access to. And then remember what we talked about regarding skills. If you do something over and over again, tell Codex that you wanted to remember that as a skill. And then also, you've got automations here. Now, these are all the automations that I've set up. Automations are amazing because they can make it so that it will remember. It creates what's called a cron job, which cron is stands for chronological. Chronological order means, over time. So if you want, for example, every Friday, or for me, for example, every Monday, I have a automation where I have Codex create the meeting notes, the title, the description, and the call to action and the meeting notes for my workshop that I have on Tuesday, which was today, and tomorrow. And it knows to do that. So it automatically does that every Monday. And it lets me know that it's done that by sending me a ping here on the desktop. And also it sends me a notification in Telegram. So you can also communicate with Codex via Telegram remotely as well. And we'll get to that eventually. But for right now, I would just start connecting the plugins and start that first chat and start conversing with Codex to find out what it can do for you, and then just have a conversation with it, and then start building skills and automations.
Okay, so like my list of things that I'm heading into retirement within 3 years. So possibly investments, I like to rewrite wills and trust.
Yep.
These are some like trips, organize a trip that I want to go on.
Yep.
I want to maybe add an addition to my house. And
Perfect.
then I want to make sure I'm maximizing my health. Now I have blood tests and stuff. I may be able to send it, but I don't know if I can.
You can. You absolutely
Yeah.
can. So Sean, in that, let me just show my screen one more time here. So in this screen here in Codex, when you download it and you start using it, see this little plus button?
Mm-hmm.
So this allows you to upload files or photos. So you can say, okay, I want to add, here's my blood work. Give me feedback on my blood work and what you think about it. And it will, and then put that in your memory and give it, you'll see what it's doing is over time, and this is a great conversation right now because we just got done talking about context. But what's beautiful about these agents is that what makes them different from you just communicating with, and this is the biggest takeaway, okay, from today, and then we'll end it here. But the biggest thing that these agents, what makes them different, Sean, from just going to Gemini and putting in a prompt and asking it to do something, the biggest difference with these agents is that they have memory. And that memory comes in the form of a document called a markdown document that lives on your computer. So every time that you want the agent to remember something, you tell it, you say, hey, look, I want you to put this, my blood work in your memory so that you have access to it. And then you never have to ask it again. You just say, hey, and because the agent if you give it access to your computer, it will have access to the files on your computer. And it will also start building a memory of Sean and everything you do and what you're doing. So it has much better context than what you would have if you just went to Gemini or any of these other agents and started talking to them.
Okay. Now I mean, this is a simple question. I just went in it. Does it give me a free for a month? Because I guess there's an upgrade button. Should I press that upgrade right now?
If I were you, I would. It's so worth it, Sean. I mean,
yeah, 100. It's around 100 a month.
100 a month, and then you can always turn it off, but it gives you access, I believe, to like 5.5. And if you're really going to use this, and I think you will, once you start using it and seeing how powerful it is, you're gonna be blown away. You want to have access to the highest model level here, which is 5.5.
Okay.
And you can adjust which model you're using, but you want to make sure that you're using 5.5 because that's the newest model, and that is what is going to give you just amazing insights and it will get a lot of work done for you. You can give it an assignment and it will work on that assignment for you overnight and come back. Yeah. So just start talking to it and start having new chats. You can pin the chats, if you want to keep them at the top. And then you can also create what are called projects, and you put what you can do is put the chats inside of projects if all the chats have to do with one particular topic. For example, like maybe you might have one project for the things that you talked about, your finances, your retirement, your addition on your home. Like each one of those would be a project. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So again, just start a new chat, connect the plugins, try to build out an automation, and it'll lead you along the way. Keep asking it questions of what it can do to help you and how to do it. If you don't understand how to do something, ask it how to do it. It'll help you do it. It has full access to your desktop. So it can help you find files. This is really the next level of AI in that it has much more access and more context of you.
Okay.
So yeah. And then if you have any questions, either YouTube or you can text me and I'll give you an answer.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah. All right, I'll start trying it out and see where it goes. I'm going to try with the retirement and then the wills and trusts. So
Yeah, I would create a new project for each one of those, and then go in there and say, when you create the project, start a new chat in there and say, hey, this is what I want. This is, my project for retirement. How can you help me with that? Give me the steps.
okay.
And
Okay.
it'll walk you through it. And then remember, it's got access to your computer. So all the files that are on there, you can just say, hey, go find this, go find my my retirement documents, and it'll find them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. So the upgrade is a GPT 5.5 Pro. That's what you want me on, right?
Yes, that would be
Okay.
the best. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. Let me know if you got any questions. And I know it's it's kind of fast, but I think if you have patience with it and you stick with it, you're going to have some really good conversations with it, and you'll be surprised with what you're able to do by just talking to it.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll call you back if just to get some tips, maybe if I can't get through some things. All right. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Bye.